Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. And thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. As hard as this is, I am also going to say that it might cause uproar and I don't care, right? I see a lot of migrants reposting some crazy videos. And I also see some Black people reposting some crazy videos. Like you all always say, some skin folks are not skin folks. That is absolutely true. Some people are going to tell you they support you, they don't. I see some of them siding some people. You all already know what I am saying. I don't think this is new. And I am going to say this for some migrants that married Black men or Black women, right? Black men and Black women, when people marry you, teach them your history. Don't let people teach you, do not let people teach you your history. Because how come I am seeing some migrant stories? Thank God I am a Trumper and I am not hiding it. When you marry a Black woman or you marry a Black man, does it mean that the Black man or the Black woman did not teach you their history? Because if they taught you the history, you won't be on you. I won't be seeing such thing on your stories. You all can do better. I mean, we've been screaming about all this, and the worst that can happen to you is to be ignorant, especially when it comes to your history. Let's get into this video.
Also, I'm going to speak for Black people for a second because I know a lot of you guys aren't going to actually listen to Black people. They have shared the sentiment, but I'll go ahead and share it myself. A lot of people are getting upset with me because I'm not deleting or blocking comments that are like, I'm going back to Starbucks. And most of those comments are being made by Black individuals. I don't understand how you can act like Black people have, and especially Black women, have championed almost every cause that we enjoy today as anyone who is in a minority group. They have championed those causes, and we let them down in this election. Anytime that we ask them to show up for us, whether we be women, whether we be Palestinians, whether we be the LGBTQ, like they have shown up for us. And we didn't show up for them, and they are rightfully frustrated. And you expect me to get in my comment section and block and tell people off for saying shit like that? You're out of your mind. I don't personally share that sentiment because I'm not the one who's going to be the most disenfranchised in this whole situation. I'm going to continue to champion the Palestinian people, and you guys are putting words in my mouth, which of fucking course you are. They have every right to be frustrated right now. And the least we can do is hold space for them and give them a second to be angry. That's the fucking least that we can do. But we can't even do that, and you wonder why they're saying the things that they're saying. You wonder why they're fucking done with everybody. That's the part that gets me. And I know I'm gonna get the white savior, you know, even me saying that, I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for that as a white woman. And I cannot emphasize to you enough how much I don't fucking care. I don't care anymore. You think I care? That's crazy. I don't fucking care. This is how I truly believe. This whole country, America would be nothing without Black people, without Black women. And they showed out for this election, and they were fucking let down by all of us. And if you think I'm excluding myself as a white woman, fuck no, I'm not. White women who voted against their own best interest, we let them down. And you're trying to tone police them? Fuck that. And here's another thing about not being friends with people who voted for the orange man. I'm never going to come onto this app and tell you guys my trauma or the things that have happened to me or the things that have happened to the women in my family or the things that have happened to my female friends, because that is a truth that needs to be earned, and it's a truth that I do not owe anybody. But if you voted for that man, if you're a woman who voted for that man especially, you are an op to me. You're the kind of person who, if something like that happened to me or would happen to me in the future, you are someone who wouldn't believe me. You are someone who would take the man's side. You were someone who would ask me why I was in that position, or what was I wearing, or you would listen to the guy. Well, he was totally misunderstood the situation. Like, that would be you. And women like that exist. And I've met women like that. I've known women like that. I've had women like that say similar shit to me when I told them my story. When I really needed someone to believe me, women like that were there. Of course, there were men like that there, but it really hurt so deeply when it came from a woman. I'm watching the Meg Thee Stallion documentary, and it's amazing the things that can happen to even high-profile women that have power, and still no one believes them. So by voting for that individual, you live in a reality that I don't live in, and the reality that you live in is dangerous for me to live in, because that's a reality where women aren't believed, and that's not something I feel safe in. I don't feel safe with you. And I'm sure a lot of women share that sentiment. For men and women who voted for him, I don't feel safe with you. You're not someone who would believe me. And that's enough for me to not want to fuck with you.
As I get into this video, I'm begging, imploring y'all to watch the whole thing. Okay, because I'm going to try to be as nuanced as possible while being as fucking for real as possible. Okay, Black Americans, right? We have some xenophobia issues, right? I can recall back to like childhood, hearing some of my Black elders say, some things I was like, this was xenophobic. You know what I'm saying? We're susceptible to that. I also want to say that Latino vote was triggering. That Latino vote was triggering. And I'm going to be speaking from a Black American perspective, a Black American who was born in Southern California, and has roots in the South. Like, that's where I'm speaking from. When I grew up, a majority of immigrants were not Black. They were not. A lot of them were brown, a lot Mexican specifically, and then like Asian immigrants. A lot of them were not Black, but I did not see them as like white folks. However, some of my first instances of racism was from these non-white people of color, was from the Mexican kids, was from the Asian kids and their families. And I remember making this association of, you're not white. Before we really got hip to being like, okay, there's white Latinos. You're not white, and you're treating me worse than them in a lot of cases. You're treating me worse than they're treating me. Those were my first signs that they really aligned with like whiteness. From 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, you really want to align with whiteness so badly. Fast forward to our adult years, still seeing that being the case. Fast forward to exit polls, still seeing that being the case. And a lot of people are calling out Black Americans for making like deportation jokes, and the xenophobia and that. And yes. I also just don't think they fucking jokes. I'm gonna be real. I think maybe some people are saying it jest, but it's like a built up a frustration of like, y'all, they are getting y'all. Y'all are not white. You might be like white Latinos, white Latinas, right? But still, that Latina is an identifier that's gonna get you got. And it's not like a ha he he. It's like we've been trying to tell y'all. And not only have you not listened, you've been extremely anti-Black in the process. And the reason why I'm expressing and explaining my feelings as a Black American, my perspective, and just thoughts that are kind of like rambling in my head right now, is it feels doubly disrespectful because the history of America and minorities getting rights, whereas on the backs of Black people here who were enslaved here, and my ancestors. Alexis, in like her videos that she's been making, she mentioned like, I feel disrespected on behalf of me and my ancestors. And I felt that. So much of our history, right, in America, on American soil, just has been bastardized and erased, to where some Black American folks don't even know our history. It feels like, damn, I'm not saying don't come to this country because borders don't fucking exist. Borders don't fucking mean anything, blah, blah, blah. But yes, come in the country. I'm seeing you as myself, as a little kid. Like, I'm trying to find some type of like camaraderie. As an adult, trying to find some type of camaraderie. As you're now immigrating here, where it's like my people, my family, my customs, my traditions, my culture is from, and you disrespect it. You disrespect the legacy of it. You disrespect me. You're racist to us. That feels fucking crazy. And another thing Alexis said is she was like, there's some xenophobic feelings that I'm having, and some people ate her up for that, but I thought that was real and honest as fuck. It's hurtful. It's hurtful, but she was being honest. And she also said, I'm working through them. She didn't say that she's going to keep them there and that she wants to be xenophobic, but it's real as fuck to acknowledge when it's like, damn, I'm having this adverse reaction to shit that is hurtful. Which is like, in general, some shit everyone should be doing, because we all live in this system. Nobody is immune to having that little oppressor voice inside of them. And matter of fact, I think everybody should really be doing that internal processing of like, damn, what problematic feelings are coming up? We should stop being shocked about it, because if we keep being shocked about it, we're not going to be pressing and moving forward to be able to call it out and deconstruct it. But I digress. The reason I'm bringing up this like Black Americans' perspective is not to absolve Black Americans of the xenophobia at all. It's not to absolve them of the ignorance of how it ain't just brown people, it ain't just Asian people. It's like Black immigrants are also, they're going to be targeted, and these policies affect them worse. I brought up that a lot of the immigrants that I like grew up around as a kid weren't Black to show that ignorance, because it wasn't until I moved to different parts of the U.S. that I was like, oh, this is just a different perspective, a different experience, I'm encountering different demographics. I'm bringing it up just honestly for the sake of vulnerability and being real and raw and honest, and the nuance of at least how I'm understanding my relationship and the thought processes and emotions coming up in me, and how that might be different than Black immigrants coming to America. Because Black immigrants, they've told, like, I've heard stories. I'm not saying Black Americans are the only people that have dealt with racism from brown people, Asian people. No. I've traveled to dozens of countries, lived abroad. I've seen it. I've heard stories, and I'm listening to the Black immigrants in my life about how, like, yeah, there's beef between Dominicans and Haitians, and I'm having to learn about that in my 20s. And yeah, this I'm no Black, I'm this is happening over here. And yet, like, I'm learning and from experiences that are not my own, how that racism manifests elsewhere. And I'm showing the perspective and vulnerability of, like, when your history and your legacy and your roots are here, and not in no ADOS way. I hate them ADOS motherfuckers. Don't even fucking start ADOS. Don't fucking start. I had to clarify that. Be grinding my motherfucking gears. Grinds my gears. I'm just sharing it from the perspective of people whose country is constantly appropriating and bastardizing and erasing your history, for people to come and then disrespect it. It fucking hurts. It really does. It's not saying don't come. It's not, because, again, we not even supposed to be here either. We don't want to be here. But shit, our ancestors didn't want to be here, but they made it fucking work. They built a beautiful culture. They fought for other minority rights, and they, we put ourselves on the line, and it's like, fuck, and you're going to come over here and be racist. You're going to come over here and vote for someone that goes against us and you. That really fucking sucks. That's terrible. Now, I'm not going to call nobody on you. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. I'm not calling nobody on nobody. What the hell? Because, again, that's not going to help. And there's Black immigrants, too. And I think Black Americans need to see that this is affecting and going to affect Black immigrants. We just had a whole part of his motherfucking, shit, you know what I'm saying, was talking about Haitian people. We just saw that. So it's like, there's no excuse at this point. We have media. You can learn from people. You can learn from Black immigrants. You can unpack your Black American xenophobia in the ways that it shows up, and listen to folks and find a way to not express your anger in problematic ways. But the anger is real and valid, and it comes from a deep-seated place, from this specific perspective. And I'm not acknowledging other Black folks in the diaspora perspective at all. I listen to, I really do. I admire when y'all speak and tell your perspective, and it opens my eyes. And because I listen to y'all, I'm able to have these realizations of like, oh, okay, well, I don't see that, and this is why I'm feeling this way, because of this is my perspective, and this is the only experience I've had, and I need to listen to that. So I just felt compelled to share that, just in case other people related or they didn't understand the feelings. I think this is a time where we have to be. I'm not looking at y'all because I feel myself getting emotional. Oh, Doug, I'm not finna cry. But I think this is a real vulnerable time where we just got to be real, raw, and honest. I just think this is a time where we got to be real vulnerable and honest and raw and call each other out. I mentioned when I was like, my community is blacks and blacks only. I curated that space for years. It didn't take this election for me to do that. Okay, that's my page. That's my personal life. It's really blacks only. And that includes being vulnerable, being raw, being honest, showing anger, and calling each other out with the anger. I've seen some say, we're just angry, we're just processing. Well, I have a whole bunch of videos where I'm like, I don't want non-black people talking to black people about what they need to do. Leave that to black folks. I want to be the black folks who's doing that. So this is my attempt of doing that and being raw and being honest and showing nuance and just trying to foster a space where we can do that safely and bravely.
I'm getting on here and seeing everybody a part of the Arab and Muslim community all of a sudden with such an emotional response to the fact that people like Talk Your Shit Nene is telling us to go get our Starbucks and our McDonald's, and I'm just confused. Why? Is it everybody in community? No, it's not everybody in community, but it wasn't just one. And your community did nothing but advocate for everybody in your community, everybody in the pro-Palestinian movement for 3 to 4 months to not vote for Kamala Harris. I just watched a video of one woman say, vote Jill Stein, vote Trump, but whatever you do, don't vote Kamala Harris. I watched another video of another woman that said, welcome, Habib. My country is destabilized, so I'm going to destabilize your country. Okay, well, there you have it. You all got up in here and ran your mouth with such confidence, with such vitriol, such venom in your words to say basically that you don't give a fuck about what is happening for the people out here in America. You don't give a fuck about the black community. You don't give a fuck about the LGBTQ community. You don't give a fuck about none of that. So what are you upset about now? You don't get to play the victim. You don't get to sit here on the internet and say, wow, all of these people are not caring. Wow, all of these people were fake. Wow, all of these people were just being performative. No, that was you. Because what you fail to realize is that the black community, especially black women, adopted your struggle and was fighting alongside of you for years before it was time to campaign. What happened? What you fail to realize is that when some shit need to get done, when black people start fucking fighting, we the ones that's gonna get some shit done. We the one that's gonna make some shit shake. And for the first time, what we realized, even if we were losing sight of it, is that black women specifically, we got each other's back. Because out of the entire world, 93 to 95% of us black women understood the motherfucking assignment for each other. We had one band, one sound. We came out and we made some shit move. And even though it was not enough to get Kamala Harris in the office, we realized some shit, that we don't have no fucking allies, and you are one of them. You sat up here for months and convinced each other to not vote, convinced each other to vote for Jill Stein no matter what we gave you. We told you that Jill Stein was a grifter. We told you that Jill Stein was full of shit. We told you that Jill Stein is nothing but somebody that comes out every fucking 4 years as an op to the Democratic Party and does everything to help the Republican Party, and you ignored it. You spread misinformation. You showed up at Kamala Harris's rallies with violence and anger. You protested against her. You even showed up to after events. I remember when you was in New York out here and y'all was up here in a restaurant, I would think it was Ricardo's, and y'all was out there. Security and police had to get involved because y'all was so goddamn violent. You thought that siding with the exact same party who called you fucking terrorists was the way to go. Well, now we're telling you, God bless. You don't get to continue to get the labor off of the backs of black people, especially black women, and sit there and begin to cry about it now when we are saying we are going to mind our business and go our own way. You should have thought about that when we were trying to convince you and explain to you what we were doing. Now you're upset and you're mad because Jill Stein does what for you again? Nothing. You get mad and pissed off to find out that Jill Stein actually is still pro-Israel. We told you that was going to happen. You get mad to find out that she wasn't even on the ballot everywhere because all of a sudden she didn't know her VP stances on certain things. We told you she was full of shit. You all watched interviews. You didn't care. You sat there and chose a man who said that he needed to help. He needed Netanyahu to hurry up with destroying your land, with the genocide of your people, to make waterfront fucking properties. Waterfront properties. He told you that after he did all that he was going to ship your asses right back. And he was going to ship everybody, even people that were fucking American citizens, because if he perceives you to be somebody that is from a country that he feels is an enemy, you're out. He told you that he was going to separate y'all fucking families. For all of you that decided to come here and then pop pussy and get an American child and thought that was going to be your reason to stay or your ability to stay, he ain't give a fuck. He told you that he was going to put you in militarized goddamn camps. And you still chose him. You chose him over the woman that specifically said she wanted peace. She wanted peace for Israel. She wanted peace for Gaza. You sat here and asked all these Unnecessary questions, really, quite frankly. And even still, we gave you the definitions and the requirements of her job. We told you that we would be able to collectively work together and possibly bully her into what we needed her to do for your people, and you still ignored us. So with all of this advocacy against her, with all of this fight and violence and vitriol against her, don't forget the videos where you threatened her life and said that you was going to harm her when she got to Detroit. With all of this work now, I'm sorry, what delusion do you live in that you thought that you was going to continue to get the hard work, the labor, and the strength of the black community? Because what you failed to realize, sweetheart, is that you only really had the black community. YT people are never going to show up for you in mass groves the way the black people did. There was no other minority community that was going to stand behind you the way that black people did. You thought you was going to preach to us about the history of what our leaders have once done, and we still tried to work with you? Absolutely not. Y'all sat up there and did fucking interviews. I remember two of your leaders sat up there and did an interview, I think out there in Michigan, co-opting black history and still admitting that black people were at the forefront of your organization with organizing the sit-ins and the protests and the marches and all that other stuff, and you still chose to turn your back on black people. You still chose to not be able to compromise and understand that working together meant being able to understand each other and come to a decision together. You still told black people that with all their suffering that we've been doing, that we've been experiencing, that we needed to not give a fuck about what we had going on and just work for you. Just for you to still not have any resolution at the end. I came to help you understand that at the end of the day, black people gonna be all right. Black people are a group of people that know what suffering is. We have been suffering, fighting, persevering, and we are resilient as fuck. We have been that way for 400 years. We gonna make some shit shake for us. We gonna be okay. And we pray that y'all gonna be okay as well. But you do not get to come up here and all of a sudden show this level of disappointment or hostility or anger and try to change the fucking narrative and make it seem like somebody abandoned you and was bullshitting you. No, baby, fuck y'all and fuck you. And we already said it ain't fuck just y'all. It's fuck everybody. Fuck them fucking Latinos too. Fuck the goddamn white women that talk about they understood this time. We knew they was on bullshit time too. But you got the motherfucking audacity. Black women have came to an understanding that we are no longer going to be at the forefront of anybody else's social justice movement except our own. And we know that we're going to make some shit happen because we, like I said, we collectively watched us, all black women around the world, and show up over 90% of us. And we understood what we needed to do for each other. And we are the ones that really made some shit happen. Did we able to finish? We didn't get to cross that line, but we know our power. And we just hope that you know your power as well. We're not going to block you. We're not going to stop you. We're not going to advocate against you. But what we're going to do is mind our motherfucking business, baby. We're done. And if you can't accept it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you feel that way. So all in all, we send you our prayers. We wish you the best. We hope for your survival. That is it. That is all.
People are writing off friends and family because of their political beliefs.
The hoops that y'all would jump through to make yourself still seem like good people after voting for that man. People are not writing off friends and family because of differing political beliefs. They're writing off friends and family because of different moral beliefs that y'all have disguised as politics. If we differ in what groups of people we believe should have rights, that is something that can rightfully, fundamentally alter your view of someone to the point at which you may want to revoke all ties from that person. And that is not crazy or insane or overreacting. It's actually a very normal reaction to have. Anyways, do you know how crazy y'all look? Voting against people's rights and those people being like, oh, I don't want to associate you. And you being like, but why? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? It's crazy to act like the victim in that scenario. The way that they're being like, guys, like, it's really your fault for cutting this ties. It's no one wants to be friends with me. Well, yeah, we have, you said you hate us on paper. We see it right there on paper. Like, girl, like, your politics can be a reflection of your moral beliefs. And people can rightfully judge you based off that. If you found out somebody was that would change your view of them, right? Wouldn't it? Even though that is technically a political affiliation. But that tells you something about that person morally, doesn't it? Right. So, and what extra pisses me off is people who are like, well, I don't agree with him socially. So I didn't really vote for that part. I just don't agree with him socially. Oh, imagine looking your friend in the face and being like, so this guy wants to push you under that bus. And I don't personally agree with him pushing you under that bus. I I am giving him the power and ability to push you under that bus, but like I don't, and I know he said that he would push you under that bus, but he also said that he would give me $3 and a paperclip. So if you think about
So this is all I got from this video, and I know it's been a whole lot going on. Mixed feelings, emotions are very high. And I am going to say this. I do not trust anybody anymore. White women, Latinos, Asians, Palestinians, I do not. Because you all have proven to us, or Black people, the reason why, they shouldn't trust you. And I am also not going to, make excuses for anybody. But there is something that I need to tell Black people. You see another set of people to really be very scared of are some migrants. I'm sorry to say this. It breaks my heart to say it, but I have to say it. Why? Because I have been seeing some of the things they repost. They think it's okay because Black people decided to show their emotions. Black people decided to say, I am no longer doing this for anybody. You know, one thing I hate about people is that some people are going to watch you bleed, and immediately you recover from the bleeding and decided that this is something that I know this is the cause of what made the bleeding start, and I am going to cut all of them off. They are not going to think of how you almost bled to death, right? But the only thing they will concentrate on is how you decided to cut people off, or how you decided to cut off the things that led to your bleeding. That is how bad some people are. Some people do not get to see some certain things that happen on TikTok or social medias. That is one of the reasons why I tell people, if you do not understand what is going on, it's okay not to even talk about it. I come on social media all the time and I see what happens. And for some migrant and some Black people, I see other black people too, coming out to repost some kind of people's videos, right? So you are trying to tell us that Black people's feelings or anger or emotions are not valid. But one thing I do not need also this time around is for somebody to validate your happiness or your anger or anything. No, it's that has already stopped, right? If every other person, white women are able to get grace, every other kind of people are also be like, they also have their grace moment, but we do not have any of it. Why? Because it's Black women or Black people. Like I said, some people to really be very scared of is some unfriendly friend, household enemies. I see all of them. And I don't want to start calling names because you all be disgracing yourselves, sincerely speaking. When I say you all be disgracing yourselves, you all be disgracing yourselves so bad. When I say so bad, so bad. That some of you, all you can do is to look for a way to defend Palestinians. Palestinians from the onset that already made it known that we are not going to do this, we are not going to do that. And for that reason, we are not cool with Black people. Why? Because they are colonizer, because they are putting their happiness first before any other person. Then tell me somebody that will wake up and be sad that you decided to choose your happiness first over them. The person must really be a witch, right? I don't know, but it's kind of sad. When I say it is sad, I think it really hurts me. I don't know how, but I feel bad when I see people that look like me coming at each other. instead of looking for a way to correct each other. I see a lot of them. And I don't know what to do. But one thing I'm going to tell you all is that you see some migrants, they sometimes they come out, they are friends. Sometimes they come out they turn into something else. And I am seeing their real color. So you all better be careful and watch your back. And I don't know how to say this, but I was like, I am going to bust some of you people's bubbles. I am most especially, I'm sure some of you know this. The reality is that there are some certain people that I knew that how they became American citizens was because they married Black women, though they are still very married today. Now, one thing I'm going to ask some married Black men, right? One thing I'm going to tell you people is that it's very sad that some of you do not know history. Some of you know nothing about history because you got married to a man that you couldn't even teach your history. You couldn't even tell him your history. And I am seeing on people's stories, people that married Black women are actually bold enough. People that married Black men are actually bold enough to say that they are Trumpers, and they have no they are not hiding it, and they have zero regrets for doing it. Thank your stars that you were able to marry a Black woman, or you married a Black man that brought you to America, because I wish you migrated during the period they said was great for Black people, so you all can use your teeth to shine shoes, because some of you really need to experience that. People that did not experience anything will seriously and boldly sit on top of something and tell you what is good for Black people and what it's not good for Black people. I chased my neighbor away from my house yesterday. And this morning I woke up again to his message, sending me Trump videos. And I told him, today is Monday. It is time to make money. I don't want to talk about Trump. Why do you constantly send me about Trump? You said you like to tell you how dumb some people are. I'm sorry to use it, but I have to use it. You came to my house to see I and my family, and the first thing you are telling me is that I love Candace Owen. I chased him away. Go. You don't have to. Yeah, I said, if you love Candace Owen, like you said, you don't have your morals are upside down. And if Trump is your role model, it means I cannot trust because my nephews and my nephew and my niece are in my house, in the family house. I said, I do not also trust you with any of them. You can go. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.